So it's been a while since we've had a new Lara Croft game, and I'm a big fan of the original one, and we played it earlier, and you said that this is a direct sequel. Is there like a transition between the two things? Will we see like a cutscene explaining how she got here, or...?
It's been great for Crystal because we've been able to announce 2 games here at E3.
Sure.
We have Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is following from the Tomb Raider reboot, and now we have this one, Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, which is it's following on from Guardian of Light, but they're basically they're 2 separate spaces right now. It's from this is Lara, she's all grown up, as opposed to directly connecting to the events that are happening inside of Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that was actually my other question, is whether or not these universes intertwine at all, or we're considering them separate, or...
We're looking at them as sort of, this is our separate fun arcade space. This is get 4 players up here on the couch and just have a really good time together. Whereas, looking at Rise, they're obviously exploring a lot more in the motivations and, and who she is as a person. So
one of the big changes between between Guardian of Light and Osiris is that now you have up to 4 players playing at once, and one of the big things about the first game was that the way that you approach things and the way that the puzzles were set up was different depending on whether you had just 1 player or 2. And you said this time around it'll change based on if you have 2, 3, 4. Like, how do the puzzles, how are they different? How do they change so that everyone has a part?
So we learned a lot in Guardian of Light about how to deal with making sure that it was fun with 2 players with very different skill sets. They had different items. And now going into Temple of Osiris, how can we push that into, we have 2 players with 1 skill set and sort of 2 players with the other skill set, which was important to us to make sure that everybody had something to do in a puzzle. You don't want to sit around and watch because you're the one person who can't do that thing.
Sure.
And so that was very important to us, to have 4 players who could all work together and try to solve these puzzles and problems.
So I'm just explaining for people who haven't been able to play the game. You've got like Lara, who has her grappling hook, and then you have the Egyptian characters who have the staff of Osiris. So instead of having 4 individuals all with different abilities, you just have like 2 pairs.
We have the 2 Egyptian gods, so we have Isis and Horus, and they both have a version of that staff, and so they have the staff's magical abilities. They can shoot its beam, which we use for light puzzles where we can bounce them off things, and they have its magical shield that it generates. And they can interact with objects that are sort of marked with Osiris's special hieroglyphs, and so you can activate those or slow them down for puzzles. And then on the other side of that, we have Lara and Carter, who both have a lighting device. He has a flare, she has a torch, and then they both have that grapple ability. And so between those, though, as you can see how that expands from, in 2 players, I can help you with my grapple, I can lift you up. In 3 players, 2 players can be the anchor points, and a 3rd player can stand in the middle of the rope. So we get to expand our puzzle sort of space as we gain more and more players in the world.
So this has been kind of a pretty big year and a half for Crystal Dynamics. The reboot came out, and it was, I don't want to call it the reboot, but it was just the new Tomb Raider came out, and it was very well received. Did the success of the new Tomb Raider, did that help prompt a new Lara Croft, because a new like Guardian of Light style game? Because a lot of people really enjoyed the first one, wanted the second one, and this was a big surprise at E3. It's like, whoa, really? Because I was happy to hear the news, and like, was that prompted by the success of the other game, or how did it?
Well, we've been asked to do by fans over and over again, like make another Guardian of Light, make another Guardian of Light, and it did very well on the digital platforms for its downloads, and Microsoft recently re-released it in the games with gold and gave it to people for free, and that got even more interest in it again. And so with all the renewed interest in Crystal, it gave us the opportunity. A lot of us internally wanted to make another Guardian, because not only is it a fun game to play, it's a fun game to make. We get to do all these sorts of fun, crazy things, and even just testing it, 4 players were yelling at each other all day on the couches and just having a good time with it. And so it became this opportunity of, hey, we've got some people here, we got some of the members from the Guardian of Light team, they really want to redo this. Let's do it, let's put it together. And so it was great for us to sort of keep it a little bit secret, and then come out here at E3 and not only go, hey, look, you've got a great new Tomb Raider that's coming, but you've also got this. And it's been a fun E3 for us to be able to do that.
Now, in the original Guardian of Light, there were a couple of downloadable content packs that came out for it, including, there was one that had Soul Reaver characters, or Legacy of Kain characters.
Both of those, yes.
Is that some, like, a concept you'd like to return to for this game?
Not going to talk about that right now.
Okay.
But we'll see what we do with the game.
And when is Osiris coming out?
So right now we're just saying this coming soon. E3 was a chance for us to show it to people, get it on the radar. Look, we got this new game coming out, and we'll announce more later.
Okay, follow-up question. Would it kill you to make a new Legacy of Kain game? That's
It would. I don't get to make those decisions. I get to make great games, and so I'm happy to be working on this.
Okay, so right now I'll just play this game and I'll just like do the voices myself, and I'll just have to imagine it, I guess.